Today's objective is to submit a pull request, then merge to create changes in a repository. Pretty light day today. You're learning a lot about the language of GitHub. Now we're going to try to put as much of that into action as possible, and thus the reading is short and the think write shares are pretty short, and the video is also brief. It just gives you a good description of what you need to do. The DOL using GitHub, students will demonstrate a merge by going to graph and then network, so that'll prove to me that you're able to work together and create a change using the directions we've gone over. The central question, what else could a repository be used for outside of large coding projects? So what we've not started yet is we haven't actually made a website using GitHub. We will. What's in progress is using GitHub to prove changes have been made. And then what you definitely should be done with is you know what a branch is and you know what a repository is. After yesterday's reading, I thought this quote would be suitable. Some problems are so complex that you have to be highly intelligent and well-informed just to be undecided about them. This is I just love quotes. This is by Laurence J Peter. Who is Laurence J Peter, you ask? Well, he's probably most famous for coming up with what's called the Peter Principle. And then what's the Peter Principle? This is sort of what it is. Why does it seem as if most of the decisions in my workplace are made by drunken lemurs? Decisions are made by people who have time, not people who have talent. Why are talented people so busy? They're fixing the problems made by people who have time. That Peter Principle is a very common thing in the world of programming. The idea that you are so successful in one area, in a technical area, you're really a great programmer, and then your boss gives you a raise to be a manager, and yet managing people is something that is definitely outside your realm. That's common. I hear about that all the time in the tech industry. What I wanted to emphasize with the quote was that after we've wiped away those layers of abstraction yesterday, after we nailed down the idea that assembly code is used to create the C programming language, that programming language is used to create Git, and then Git is just one of many options we have in order to collaboratively work to create websites and games, and it's websites and games that can be used for a variety of things, right? This idea that tools are created to create tools that are created to create other tools for solutions. After we've wiped away those layers of abstraction, it's okay to be undecided about what version control system we should use. But this is why we use it. The Stack Overflow developer survey reported that in 2015, 69% of developers, they were using Git, okay? So here's the percentages for the others that you can experiment with, of course, if you want on your own time. But I just wanted to really drive home the reason we're using GitHub. Like I said, today's pretty light, so let me go through this fun or not so fun facts about GitHub, and then we'll get started on the work. So here it says on December 3rd, 2014, GitHub was blocked in Russia for a few days over posted suicide manuals. So things might have been so bad over there that suicide was common. And on GitHub wasn't source code, but manuals of how to execute such an act. Then, in the same month, in the same year, GitHub was blocked in India, along with 31 other websites, over pro-ISIS content being posted. On January 10th, 2015, GitHub was unblocked, but then again on the 12th of September, GitHub was blocked all over India. Eventually the site was unblocked. Okay, so India is blocking it and unblocking it. On March 26, 2015, GitHub fell victim to a massive DDoS attack, and this lasted for more than 118 hours. The attack, which appeared to originate from China, primarily targeted GitHub-hosted user content describing methods of circumventing internet censorship. So over there in China, they have something called the Great Firewall, and what that does is block Chinese citizens from visiting many websites. Here's a think, write, share for you. Do you think we should ever censor GitHub, or does this violate the freedom of speech or expression? Okay, so this guy will walk you through how to create pull requests and do forks. Daniel Stiffman is his name. He's really great. some notes from the video. You fork the project to edit. You can commit directly to the master branch, which means you'll be adding it to your master branch, not the original. And there's just not a lot of notes, more like he will show you exactly what to do and then you will do it. So here's the project of the day. You partner up or solo. It's possible to do it solo, but I want you to be in partners if possible. Create something on GitHub, fork the repository, then create a pull request, then merge. Topic ideas you could use is top 5 point guards in the NBA, a poem about food, a recipe or directions for the greatest meal. Choose something. You could use your imagination. And so one partner creates that thing. Let's go with the point guards. So somebody writes down the top 5 point guards, and then someone else will access that repository, suggest a change to that list, and then the person in charge of the master branch, remember we call them the Highlander, there can only be one, the Highlander can then accept that request. Then at that stage, all you do is show me to receive credit. Okay, so you show me by clicking on graph and then network. So I'll be able to see that. I do have a reading. It is pretty optional unless we have plenty of time in class, and we can read it. It's all about security and pull requests. Okay.